Hello, it's me, James, and I'm here with Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
And we have got some spoilers for you. In fact, we did one of these videos once before where we collected together all of the spoilers up to that point, and there's been an absolute slew of late, including some of our own. So we thought we'd put them all in on our spoiler page, which is what you can see on the screen, and talk about them a little bit. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the spoilers page. I just wanted to show you a couple of things if you haven't seen it already. I'm going to skip through those names because we now have all the character names. If you're new to the game, this is a great place to join in because for the first time in a long time, you have a really easy and relatively inexpensive access to the essentials, meaning sidekicks and basic action dice in the form of origin packs. So that's cool, and you get some alt art cards. The game is mostly in the form of draft packs, which it has been for quite a while now, and they give you the perfect setup to play a draft, which is one of the best ways to play the game, I think. And we've got all the information you need there. There are some new things. I won't go into too much detail. The format of the cards has been facelifted. All the details are there, and there are some epic basic actions which are new. We'll see those later, so I won't go into any more detail now. But do take a look at that massive shield agent die with a 087, and bear that in mind for later. Okay, let's scroll through that. We also have a release date. We have a rules reference. We have a release date which is, according to solicits, in North America, the 12th of April, which is really quite soon. And generally, when there is an actual day, that tends to be more reliable. So fingers crossed for that. And Ben, how is it in the UK?
I've talked to one retailer who said the 30th of April is the date that they had been told for Europe. So
So
hopefully, fingers crossed.
yeah, we'll keep everything crossed and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to skip through those lists of characters again. Not very exciting. We're going to whip through some of these because there is a lot of new stuff. I'll try and mention what's new and roughly where it was spoiled. A lot of these things were spoiled quite recently on an unboxing from DM North, so you can go and check out that video if you want to hear their thoughts on it, and I'll try to mention where the other new stuff is from. So first up is any card that you can see like Agent Brand Common that looks like it's got somebody's fingers on it. Assume that is from DM North's stream. That's not hugely exciting, so let's crack on with Apocalypse. Ben, I think you wanted to talk about him.
I did. The super rare seems very interesting. First off, you have a reprint of the Dark Phoenix Global. Some over crushing them while he's active. You can feel the character die. You deal 2 damage to target character die, so some removal. Nice to have the Phoenix Global back. And then also the rare seems quite interesting. We have this little symbol here in the circle, which means you pay a bolt and a mask. Pay both together at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of been clarified as not an or choice, it's both.
Yeah, that's right. It's been ruled on the super active rule forum, so we can rest assured that is the case. Not this card, but for another card. But that's how those sort of two symbol things work.
Yeah, but just the dice thinning potential, being able to get all those sidekicks out of your use pile seems pretty strong. Especially if you have a way to remove the sidekicks, like KO the sidekicks, so that when you field them, they get immediately KO'd. Could be pretty interesting.
Nice. Yeah. I should mention that the super rare is from Brickroller 6. You can't see fingers on that one, so I think they did a spoiler video with a couple of villains quite recently. Okay, we will push on with Beasts. The uncommon is pretty interesting. You can find out more about that. It's from Rolling Thunder, and they've got both a little article on it, and I believe they talk about it in more detail on their podcast. It's pretty cool. I quite like that. It's quite aggressive, and they've got some recommendations of cards that you could play with that. Black Panther, nothing new there. We have got a couple of videos that you could watch. One from the super rare, I think. And I feel like there was maybe one from the rare as well. So do check out our videos. They're at the end of this page and also on our YouTube channel. Black Swan we spoiled a while ago. Captain Britain was spoiled some time ago by the MOD. Captain Marvel is technically the common is our spoiler. So thank you, Wizkids. We had 2. That was one of them. It was also spoiled on stream by DM North. Prior to that, we had this beautiful little postage stamp image, which I cropped from the side of a box from the promo materials when the set was first announced. But she's all right. While Captain Marvel is active, your character dice get +1 attack and +1 defense. For a 4 cost, Ben, it's all right.
Yeah, solid stuff. But pumping your field in general is pretty good.
Pretty
Making your
strong.
psychics 2/2 rather than their psychics being 1/1 is useful.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And the fielding cost, which was always a bit of a problem, is not such an issue. Now we have globals like Robin.
Yeah.
So the uncommon is new, and the uncommon Colossus is also new, but not super exciting. Corvus Glaive might be worth a mention. The common, when fielded, KO a character die you control. If you do, the next die you purchase this turn costs 2 less. That text sounds very familiar, Ben.
Yeah, one of my favorite cards from Infinity Gauntlet, which is the Proxima Midnight Uncommon, I believe. Very similar ability, but cheaper fielding costs.
Yeah, and easier to KO, you mentioned. So this
That's true.
seems pretty good. I like that for a 3 cost fist. Nice.
Despite your troubles
nice
with Proxima.
I'd be prepared to give it another go, given that
Okay.
there's only 1 fielding cost on the whole thing, and yeah, it's more my kind of thing.
Yeah, one of the problems with Proxima is I paired it with that Sasha Banks that made them free to field, which was useful. Because the one on every face is a bit annoying.
Yeah. Uncommon, not perhaps as interesting. Dazzler has 2 new cards, I think. The common and the uncommon. The common is pretty interesting, I think. When fielded, deal 4 damage to target mass character. I'd actually missed the mask symbol because it's quite small. I was wondering why the uncommon was worse, but okay. So the uncommon does the same thing, but it's for an unaffiliated die. Okay, less interesting with that restriction, maybe. But
yeah.
With a potential rise with distraction coming back, and a potential rise in sort of control, there might be some mask things that you want to get rid of. But
Yeah, the mask with less than 4 attack to make it 4 defense. Sorry, to make it useful.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll push on with Falcon, who is a completely new character, also spoilt on the DM North stream. Not really bothered about his team watch ability is not terrible. Team watch triggers when you field an affiliated character, I believe. So prepping sidekicks is not a bad thing, actually. But the global is maybe more interesting, Ben. Pay a fist once during your turn. Each player must field a sidekick from their use pile if able. That sounds familiar.
It does. White Tiger, I believe, from the Spider-Man set. Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep.
The most underrated set of all time. Very useful, forcing your opponent to have a sidekick. Very good if you have a need to create a blocker for them for something like Overcrush.
Yes. Or if you want them to have something in the field that you want to knock out for some reason. There are all sorts of nasty things that you can do with that, and the only ability that we've seen similar to that is since Spider-Man is Instant War, I think. Making your opponent feel psychics, and we'll come back to that later, of course. Franken's Galactus is not new, but quite cool. We've had a whole set of God Emperor Doom between Brit Roller 6 with the super rare, I think, and 2 more from the stream, and the rare that we already had, but I think we decided probably the rare is the most interesting, and we've already had that. The super rare is a bit like Lilandra, but perhaps not as good and more expensive. Goddess of Thunder, aka Storm, I think maybe that uncommon is in fact new to us, and the rare I think was spliced together originally by Laurier, and then I made a bigger version, but I don't know. The uncommon is alright. When fielded, reroll X target character dice where X is equal to the number of active what they called Thor core characters in your field zone. Huh.
I like the rare as well. I think that could be a good ramp option. Only problem is it's a 5 cost, so how do you get to it?
Yes.
Without
Thor core single affiliation might be interesting, but speaking of which, we have Groot actually, who's also Thor core, and I believe this one will be from the DM North stream. When fielded, deal 1 damage to every character die. Prep a die from your bag if any character dice are KO'd by this damage. Nice for breaking down walls.
Well, it might be a nice pairing with that Apocalypse. You can make some sidekicks, field Groot, KO all the sidekicks, prep a bunch of dice.
Nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Invisible Woman is not new. Jane Foster is not new, though one of them was spliced together in the same way as Goddess of Duda. Jimmy Woo was our second spoiler. Jimmy Woo, get in. Remember those shield agent dice with the massive attacks and defense stats? They were a lie, Wizkids.
Mm-hmm.
How could you do this? They were kind enough to give us the second spoiler. I think also spoiled yesterday on DM North stream. Jimmy Woo can't be targeted by opposing effects. Ben?
Yeah, no 8-7 Jimmy Woo for you. The ability's alright though. I mean, at one time this ability was ridiculously strong with the Ring of Magnetism, but less so now.
Yes, now that
because
we roundly banned.
Yeah, we can't force something to target this and then cancel that targeting. But I mean, yeah, there's some targeted removal effects that still might keep this all around. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This doesn't do much. This doesn't do much apart from it can stay in the field probably.
Indeed. Let's push on with Kang. There are 2 new ones there. Paying life to reroll dice in your reserve pool. It's all to do with sort of time travel, isn't it? And that sort of stuff. I don't know how exciting those are. I think you wanted to talk about King Hyperion then.
I did. The rare, particularly the global, seems quite nasty. They pay a shield. Target attacking character goes to the use pile if KO'd this turn. Bit of a 2-edged sword, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can somehow, make that more effective for you than your opponent, sending things to the use pile is very strong.
Yes, if you were not planning to attack, maybe. I don't know. Yes, that's...
Yeah, or if
that's
you have some kind of beefy stats.
It's always kind of sad to see things going to the use pile and think, I'm not getting that back for a while.
One of the cards I like from the Kryptonite Crisis was the Monsieur Mallet with the force attack that wasn't... It was on its card. They had to attack with something.
Yeah.
That gives... Because the problem with this is if you use a force attack global, then they're likely to just do it back to you.
Do it to you, yeah. Could be pretty interesting. Let's go on with Madeline Pryor. There's one new one. She has... there was a character with that already. Field a psychic from your use pile with Energize. That was in one of the experts.
That was Psylocke. Yeah.
Psylocke, yeah. And she gives a defense buff to psychics.
Yeah, that's okay. For a 2 cost.
Magic Common is also new. She does action die stuff, I assume. Yeah, when you use an action die, field a psychic from your use pile or prep area. Well,
loads of psychic fielding stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, yeah. Mr. Sinister has... in fact, since we last made a video, these are all new, I think. The rare one was spoiled in pixelated form by DM North on Facebook originally, and the common and uncommon, I think, are from their stream. So, anything interesting there, Ben?
I mean, they're similar to the UXM Global, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Tinkerers type cards, not
indeed. The global might be of interest to someone, although it's probably not for me. It's pay. Is that a bolt and a mask? This was one actually where the rules forum clarified that it is both of those energies. Each player chooses one of their character dice to take 3 damage, but you don't get to choose your opponent's die. So yeah, someone.
I never liked Mr. Sinister's stats were a bit annoying to me. The two on level 2 is just a bit annoying.
Yeah. Agreed.
Otherwise, the uncommon might be useful.
Okay, next up is Molecule Man. It's pretty exciting. It's a new character. I think this is a common, and since it's a full art, we assume that it's a vanilla, so it has no text. But the dice are interesting. Whose dice are they, Ben?
Not Madam Hydra, as I thought. It was actually Phantom X's. Well, I think they're the Madam Hydra colour. But Phantom X, yes.
Could well be right. Yeah, they've just nicked Phantom X's dice because they look like the scars on Owen's face. But
they don't have the... It's interesting because it's sort of a new die, different stats. Yeah, considerably different stats, apart from top level.
That is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing the other Molecule Mans. They should be something... I mean, he's pretty damn powerful, so that those could be interesting, but I don't know what they are yet. Mr. Fantastic, just the rare is new. When fielded, your opponent chooses an affiliation. KO 2 target character dice that are not that affiliation. Okay. Niche. Namor has two new cards also, and they're both reasonably interesting. When fielded, each player draws 3 dice and fields all sidekicks drawn this way. Each player places the remaining dice in their bag or used pile. That's the uncommon, which is like instant war on legs, I guess.
Yep.
So repeatable. That's pretty interesting. With KO globals in the meta, and the rare, while Namor is active, your opponent must pay 3 life to declare blockers, which is also pretty decent, I reckon.
Yep.
Don't know if I'd pay 4, but yeah, good stuff. Ben, I think Phoenix Force Cyclops, the uncommon is new. Did you want to talk about one of those?
The common, but apparently that's already been talked about. I just forgot about it.
Ben's behind the times.
Yeah. That character gets -5 attack is so interesting, but yeah.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Force, the uncommon is just a reprint of the Jocasta, which is being reprinted by Dark Phoenix. This is one cheaper than that and has immense stats on defensive stats on level 3.
Well, Jocasta had a restriction that it was the first damage dealt, wasn't it?
Not originally, but yes.
Okay.
It was any damage, and then got ruled to be the first instance of damage, which they
right?
changed in the Dark Phoenix to now be combat damage.
Right. Well, it's pretty good. It was a good ability there, and this is it 1 cheaper maybe, and the stats are
1 cheaper and bonkers stats.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Okay. Proxima Midnight. One of them was spoiled by Breath Weapon X, the uncommon, I think. Yeah, it's all right. And the common was spoiled on DM North. I don't have a good relationship with Proxima Midnight, to be honest. Anything? Nah. Let's move on to Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch, the common was spoilt on Rolling Thunder, and that you can definitely go. Please do go to their website and check out the article that they've written about that and their other spoilt card. They've got some interesting stuff about that, and also listen to their podcast. The new one is the uncommon. When an opponent uses an action die, deal 3 damage to target character die. Whatever. Also, on the theme of action dice, Sheriff Strange, Ben, any of those take your fancy?
Yeah, they're all strangey types of things.
Nothing super interesting, right? No. Spider-Gwen, we have this common and Origins pack common thing. These have different subtitles and different texts, so I think we've come to the conclusion that everything which is in an Origins pack has to be labelled common, even though elsewhere it may not be. So the real common, if there is such a thing, was spoiled recently by DM North. Spider-Gwen can't be blocked on a burst face. Unfortunately, those stats are not great, but then you could spin it up and push it through. And she has 0 fielding cost. 0 fielding. I like it.
Yeah, I suppose the most benefit you get out of it is a stat flip, which we don't have, I suppose.
Yeah, not yet. I like the card.
I like the free fielding.
Yeah, definitely. Good image. Spider-Man is also equally confusing, I think. Both the common and the uncommon here have the same text. Or at least, sorry, the common, which has the black box, is from the Origins pack. And that actually is an alt art version, I think, of the uncommon, which you can see with the third card there, because they have the same title. And basically the same text, but without the reminder text on there.
Spider-Man is normally a lot more interesting.
Yes. No, I wasn't overwhelmed.
2 costs for those stats is pretty good, but
yeah, fair enough. Let's move on. Star-Lord common is new. When fielded, your character dice get +1 attack. So this is 3 cost instead of the 4 cost buff that we saw with Captain. The 4 cost buffer that we saw with Captain Marvel, but it just does attack. But that might be all you need. Not bad. Stormbreaker Ray. I think, Ben, you wanted to talk perhaps about the rare, which is new.
Yeah, the global in particular. Well, you pay 3 energy, roll a character die from your use pile. Field, if it shows a character face, can only be used if one of your character dice respond to an energy face or reroll this turn. A little bit like one of the basic actions I think quite underrated, which is Don the Helm or Making the Team now, I think it's called. That's all the way back from Yu-Gi-Oh! I think the original one. I can't remember.
Don the Helm, that old gangster.
Don the Helm, yeah. But this is that at global speed. which is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then we have ways of spinning character dice to energy faces pretty easily with the what's it now? The spin down global.
Yeah. So this is a sort of way of
The
retrieving things from the use pile,
fist.
which is always always hurts, frankly. So that, yeah, this is a way of
Yeah, I
sort of,
mean,
but
being able to buy something and then roll it in potentially,
yeah. Oh yeah, also that. But then also paying 3 and then rolling it to energy.
which is probably likely to happen. Yes.
Very
Yeah.
likely. Yes, but it's interesting for sure.
It's probably not worth doing it, but it's interesting.
Hmm.
I like it.
Okay. Cool. Terrax, there are a couple of new ones, the common and the uncommon, but they're not nearly, I think. I mean, we've seen the abilities before. Not nearly as interesting as the rare, which we've already made a video about. So Jason did a nice combo with that. It's quite strong. The Maker is a completely new character. I must say, my lore is failing me here, but judging from the dice, I'm assuming he's got something to do with Mr. Fantastic. Maybe he's an alternate form of Mr. Fantastic. I don't know.
Or yeah, one of the timey-wimey changing. Maybe he's the repeat of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Not super interesting. Thing now. Something here is new. I think a couple of them new. The uncommon from DM North and Jimmy, I think, spoilt the rare on Facebook the other day. Of the two, probably. It's interesting that you can't target with the uncommon, but maybe the rare is more interesting. When fielded, put a +1 attack and +1 defense token on each of your Fantastic Four characters. This has also been ruled by the Hyperactive Rules Forum to be. You don't have to have those characters active, and the tokens go on the cards. So that's pretty strong.
That ruling is very good. Yeah.
Yes, good preemptive rulings, and both that and the super rare have the handy dandy Wolverine global. Pay a fist, prep a die once per turn. We also made a video, I think, although I'm not sure if I released it with the super rare. Jason was playing with that, and it's quite nice. Oh yes, in fact, that's part of the Black Panther super rare video that we made. It's an interesting cards, I think. Anyway, Thor of Higher Avalon. We're getting there. The uncommon was spoilt by Breath Weapon X, and the common recently by DM North. Ben, any thoughts on these?
Well, I had a little bit of a question on the uncommon. It says deal 2 damage for each team affiliation in their field zone. That says divided any way you choose among the characters. Does that mean that you have to do instances of 2? And then you sort of separate them out, or can you split that 2 into individual instances of 1?
Yeah, that
so
is
effectively, that makes a difference, right? Because you are either getting, especially on psychics, if you think about it that way, you're getting 2 KOs rather than 1 KO. So,
indeed,
I'm gonna mess with this. I like it a lot. The fact you can radicalization global allows you to make 2 affiliations, and being able to KO on your opponent's turn is always useful.
Yes, that's potentially quite strong. Really, yes.
Yeah.
Look forward to a future video with Ben playing that. Okay, Ultimate Spider-Man has seen something new. Common and uncommon are new. Wolverine uncommon is.
Well, I suppose the only thing the common needs ruling on whether it needs to be active to do that.
I think things which reduce fielding costs and
are
give
normally not
reductions
active,
on purchase
right?
costs are normally they don't have to be active, but
Okay,
we'll see.
that's fine.
Wolverine uncommon is new. When Wolverine KOs a character die, add it to the owner's bag instead of sending it to the prep area. Yeah, sure. Okay. And the global's back on Wolverine 2.
Yeah, I like that one. That's annoying.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and finally we have the basic action cards, and they've all been spoiled now. I think we've got the full set. Do check out the information on the website about what epic basic actions are, but you've got a few of those. The sort of Casket of Ancient Winters, the first 3, and then I think there's a few more later. Are those? There are some restrictions on how you play those. I think you have to have some stuff in the field probably, and there's only once per turn, and then they go back to the card once you've used them.
Too many restrictions, but they're fun.
But the Cosmic Cube looks interesting from those, I would say.
That's fun. I really think the Casket of Ancient Winters would be funny as well.
yeah. I imagine we will make a video about these in more detail, so we won't go too much into it now. It's very interesting to see Instant War back, I think.
Yep.
We'll be happy to do some shenanigans with that. Pirate Broadcast is actually one of my favourites. Combines Nefarious Broadcast and the Blackbird Global in one card.
I mean, yeah, the go-to shop for cancelling global stuff.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And I like the renaming. I suppose that's Mojo. I don't know if it is, but I like that quite a lot. I also like the art on Shocking Grasp. It's good to see that back.
Yeah, Shocking Grasp is great.
Yeah. Beyond the... okay. And then you've got these other epic basic actions. The Darkhold we'd already seen. Infinity Gauntlet. Wow. Well, okay, that's a big thing.
That one seems like the most playable, to be fair, actually, the Infinity Gauntlet, because it's cheaper.
Indeed. And we have Wallop back again, which is the sort of the classic anti-Overcrush global. Pay a fist, target blocked character die, deals no damage. So that's
because
sure
that
to
was
see some play.
Originally Wallop as a card was a promo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of a reprint of something else.
It was a reprint of something that wasn't the promo.
Called Wallop.
Smash.
Yeah.
I think it was Smash with Hulk on it originally. And I think that's your lot. We have down here, we have our videos. I've added those to the website, and we have an update log which tells you where you can reference where all of these cards originally appeared. So if you want any of the links that we've been mentioning, you should find them all there. Ben, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. It's good to talk to you again after a long time.
Well.
Looking forward to the sets, and keep your ears open because we'll be bringing the podcast back to the airwaves soon. Thank you very much at home for listening. We hope that that's been useful and entertaining. If you have any questions, do let us know in the comments. And don't forget to check out our other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back again next time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.